After a disappointing past 2 seasons, the Golden State Warriors are one of the aspiring contenders that are expected to make big moves before the start of the 2021-22 season. The Warriors will most likely have their trio of Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and Stephen Curry back next season. But with the emergence of the super teams in Los Angeles and Brooklyn, their front office will be aware that they need more star power on their roster to have any chance of dominating the loaded Western Conference, especially if they have plans to win the NBA title. The Warriors have been relatively quiet this offseason, but not for long anymore. Our sources can confirm that the Warriors are looking at a trade possibly to acquire Timberwolves star Karl-Anthony Towns before the start of next season. It's safe to say that Karl-Anthony Towns has lived up to the expectations that came with being the first overall pick in the 2015 NBA draft. We all know how first picks tend to fade out in the NBA, but Towns has done pretty well. While he's not been able to prove himself in the playoffs, there's no denying that Towns is one of the best big men in the NBA. And as it has happened before, it seems like his talents are just going to waste in the Minnesota Timberwolves. To be honest, the Minnesota team in general has been pretty bad. Last season, the team finished with a 6th worst record. Towns himself has struggled with injuries and some off-court issues like the time he lost his mother and 6 other family members to COVID. So it's been pretty tough for the 25-year-old in the last 2 seasons. While the Wolves were bottom for most of the season, Towns was one of the main reasons they didn't stay at the bottom. He was their go-to man in the final 10 games, averaging 25 points per game to help the team win 6 games out of their final 10. While Towns has had some spectacular individual seasons, he won't be happy that he's only made the playoffs once in his career or time with the Timberwolves. And that's because the franchise has failed to surround him with a premier talent that would make them a championship-caliber squad. Towns recently spoke about his ambitions, saying, "Winning championships. I've had the fortune of putting up some amazing stats, historical stats in games and seasons. But you're only remembered for the championships you truly win. I just gotta try to win some chips. That's what my legacy will be built on, how much I win." There's no doubt that Towns desires to win on the biggest stage. That's his biggest goal for the rest of his career, is winning championships. Towns appears to have a good relationship with the Timberwolves front office, and there's an appreciation that Towns has for what the organization has done in terms of helping him through all of the grief he has suffered over the last year. He's also got his good buddy with him there, D'Angelo Russell. He also really likes Anthony Edwards and sees himself as a big brother to Edwards and has been helping him along in his development. So there are those things to consider for him. The Timberwolves will still finish with the 6th worst record in the NBA. I don't see that changing. So if Towns really wants to win championships, as he said, he will need to leave Minnesota. The Golden State Warriors, on the other hand, are in a dicey situation, and that's because they're in a position where they have to balance between developing their young players while also competing for the playoffs with a superstar, Stephen Curry. But after the 2 horrid seasons that they've had, it's obvious the front office, as well as their main stars, will have missed the rush and excitement of being in the Western Conference Finals and getting ready for the NBA Finals. It's obvious that will be their main goal this season, as they will have Curry. And we all know Curry is the type of superstar that can get you multiple championships if you build a worthy team around him. And at 33, Curry still has a few good years left at his peak, and the Warriors will want to capitalize on that. If there's anything the Milwaukee Bucks proved last season, it's that you don't exactly need star power to win the league. In the last 5 years in the NBA, we've seen many stars try to team up with one another so that they could win themselves a championship title or an NBA ring. And it hasn't exactly always worked out. The Warriors have a prime example of that, as they acquired James Harden to add to their already elite core. The Warriors could make a move to sign a superstar of their own, although they wouldn't be able to sign a star straight up because their salary cap won't allow that. But they could potentially trade for a star on a middling team. That superstar we're talking about is Karl-Anthony Towns of the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Minnesota Timberwolves have been poor in the last few years, and they've only been to the playoffs once with Karl-Anthony on the roster. Towns has openly spoken about how he wants to win the championship sometime in the future, and it doesn't appear that there's any chance of that happening if he remains in Minnesota. So maybe the time has come for the franchise to pursue a different direction by allowing Towns to go and pursue a championship with Curry while the Wolves try to rebuild around Anthony Edwards. The Golden State Warriors could send out a large package that features both young players and draft picks for compensation. The key salary piece in this deal is Kelly Oubre Jr., as he would have to be sent out via sign-and trade. This is the only logical move in this situation. Although Oubre Jr. would have to agree for that to happen, the Timberwolves could be an appealing destination for him, as he would be able to have a lot of offensive touches there, which would aid his development. As for the young players that could feature in this deal, we have Eric Paschall, James Wiseman, and Alen Smailagic. The key piece here is obviously Wiseman, because the kid is a fine player, and while it would be a shame for the Warriors to lose him, he will be a great asset for the Timberwolves. Wiseman has all the tools as well as the athleticism to become a generation big man, if given more touches. Eric Paschall, on the other hand, is a power forward who made the all-rookie team during the 2019-20 season, while Smailagic has the potential to develop into a big backup for the future rotation. The draft picks, on the other hand, will definitely include Minnesota's own pick for 2021. That's as long as it falls outside the top 3. The 2021 NBA draft is stacked, so the pick holds a good value. More picks would need to be added to get a star of Towns' caliber, and that only means there are going to be 2 more future first-rounders, as well as second-rounders, and a second-rounder just to sweeten the package even more. Karl-Anthony Towns would make the Golden State Warriors a clear-cut super team, and with Towns on their roster, they would easily become one of the top 3 favorites to win the 2022 title alongside the Brooklyn Nets and Los Angeles Lakers. We're talking about a player that recorded 14 points and 12 rebounds against the Lakers on his NBA debut. In the following game, Towns bettered his NBA debut score, recording 28 points and 14 rebounds against the Denver Nuggets. That same season, recorded 32 points and 10 rebounds against the Utah Jazz and became the youngest player to have 30 points and 10 rebounds in a game ever since Kevin Durant did so in 2008. At the end of the season, Towns won the NBA Rookie of the Year and became just the 5th unanimous NBA rookie. Towns is huge and strong, and he also possesses a ridiculous array of low-post tools. But that's not all. The 25-year-old is a 3-level scorer at the center position, and you won't find any better shooting center in the league. That's because he's the best. Towns is currently averaging 24.8 PPG, 10.6 RPG, and 4.6 APG, and this is while shooting 39.5% from beyond the arc. If the Golden State Warriors add Towns to their roster alongside Curry and a healthy Klay Thompson in top form, the trio are likely to become the best offense in NBA history. His potential arrival in the Bay Area would help the Warriors improve their offensive and defensive efficiencies that ranked 19th and 5th, respectively, in the league last season. Towns will have no problem fitting into the Golden State Warriors system, and the spacing he would get from the roster would be amazing, especially when you have Klay Thompson and Curry on the team. Let's not forget that Andrew Wiggins has developed into a capable shooter as well. Draymond Green, on the other hand, would be able to give Towns cover on the defensive end, and Green's playmaking ability would seamlessly pair well with Towns, and his terrific shooting ability. Towns being an elite big man would also give the Warriors a boost in the rebounding category, which is something the Warriors missed a lot last season. On paper, this is a move that clearly works. It's perfect, to be honest, and if the Warriors make this move, it would be a league-changing move. Make no mistake, Towns is not the finished item, as the 25-year-old still has plenty of things to improve in his game. But even at that, he's already being considered as one of the dominant big men in the league. For the Warriors, Towns would fulfill the franchise's long dream of adding a 4th superstar to their roster. He would give them a very reliable scoring option, a monster rebounder, a great on-court facilitator, shot block, and floor spacer. This is an exciting prospect for the Warriors, and with Towns on their roster, they will have every chance to win the championship again. With Curry, Draymond Green, and a healthy Klay Thompson, Towns would almost instantly restore the Warriors to their glory days. Comment below to let us know your thoughts, and be sure to subscribe for more. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss another one of our videos. We'll see you next time, latest Hoops fans. Until then, keep shooting your shot!